Have you ever held back from speaking, not because you didn't have something to say, but because you were convinced no one would really listen? Have you ever looked at confident people and thought, that's just not me. I wasn't built like that. Maybe you've spent years playing small, not because you lacked potential, but because somewhere along the way you started believing that visibility belonged to other people. If that sounds like you, this story is for you. Let me tell you about Nina, a woman who used to think confidence was something you had, until she learned it was something you build. Nina was one of those people everyone liked. Kind, thoughtful, steady, reliable. She was the one who always caught the little details others missed, who stayed behind to clean up after a big event, who made space for others to speak and rarely took that space for herself. But underneath all that helpfulness was something else. A quiet ache, because she didn't want to be invisible. She just didn't think she had what it took to be seen. Confidence, presence, speaking with weight, those belonged to other people, the ones who were born with it. She wasn't one of them, or so she thought. Then came the leadership training at work. She signed up mostly out of obligation. Free coffee, some slides, a welcome break from her inbox. Midway through, the speaker paused and said something that stopped her cold. Confidence isn't something you have, it's something you train. Nina laughed under her breath. Easy for you to say, she muttered. But that line, it didn't leave her, it echoed. That night, brushing her teeth, she caught her reflection and whispered, "What if he's right?" The next morning, on her walk to work, Nina made a silent promise to herself. Just stay quiet. Don't try to prove anything. It was safer that way. She'd already learned how to disappear, but later that day, she didn't. During a weekly check-in, her manager asked, "Anything you'd like to add before we wrap up?" And before she could overthink it, Nina said, "I think there's a piece of the project we're overlooking." Her voice was shaky, her hands were sweating. But her manager paused, looked up, and said, "Interesting. Tell me more." That moment didn't change everything, but it changed something. From then on, she started treating confidence like a muscle. One tiny rep at a time. She hit send on an email without rewriting it 5 times. She volunteered to open a team workshop. She recorded voice memos instead of perfectly crafted messages. They weren't huge, showy moves. To most people, they looked like nothing. But to Nina, they were everything. Each small act said, "You're not broken, you're just in training." Months later, she was asked to lead a major client presentation, the kind of thing she would have dodged at all costs a year before. And just before walking into the room, she felt it, the old script creeping back in. What if I freeze? What if they see right through me? But then she heard another voice, the one that had stayed with her since that training. "It's just another rep." She smiled, breathed, walked in. She didn't nail it, but she owned it. She spoke clearly, paused intentionally, listened as much as she spoke, and the room, it listened back. When she walked out, she didn't think, "I hope I did okay." She thought, "I can do hard things." A few days later, a younger colleague pulled her aside. "You always seem so confident when you speak," she said, "like it just comes naturally." Nina smiled. "It didn't, but I train it every day." The woman tilted her head. "Wait, you train confidence?" "Yep," Nina said, "just like a muscle. You start small and you keep showing up." There's one more thing Nina used to admire in confident people. How they made others feel safe. Not just impressed, but seen. And now, that's exactly how people describe her. She didn't become someone else. She became more herself. Not because she was fearless, but because she kept showing up anyway. That's Nina's story, and maybe it's a little bit yours too. Maybe there's a version of you you've quietly believed you could never be. But what if you didn't need to be them all at once? What if you just did one rep? Say one thing, try one thing, trust one instinct. Because confidence, it isn't something you have, it's something you build, one shaky sentence at a time.